Hiya Kierri, I wanted to make a response to your video about friends, real friends and YouTube friends, and my perspective on it. I thought you had some really interesting and thoughtful things to say, and I don't disagree with anything that you had to say. I find YouTube a fantastic medium for finding people and slowly getting to know people. I think knowing all the time that however well you may get to know somebody, intellectually, mentally, spiritually, there is always that barrier there. You know, you've got the small camera and you've got the big computer screen. There is a final sort of protection against being hurt in any way. I think during my last 3 or 4 months on YouTube, I've probably made around 9 or 10 friends, and that's twice as many friends that I have in real life. In real life, I simply don't trust people enough. The friends I have now I can count on one hand, but what I would consider to be good friends, I'm there for them when they need me, and they're there for me when I need them. I know they're good listeners, and I'd like to think I'm a good listener for them too. To me, the best quality outside, your genuine and honest people is that they have the ability to listen and to understand what you're saying, and not necessarily to give you answers to whatever it may be you're talking about, but to have an understanding. And sometimes through discussing things with people you can see other options that you don't necessarily see yourself. To me, Kierri, you're in a very unique position because your best friend is your mum, and that's something I've never been able to have. I've tried, and up only until last Christmas or last October, the year before, I even had my mother living with me, and for the most part everything was okay, but I'd spent 4 years since I moved back to Burnley building this trust up with her, and I deliberately moved to Burnley to try and rebuild this trust and to have a family like most normal people. But in the end that trust was blown right back in my face. So I know everybody has disagreements from time to time, and everybody will have different opinions from time to time, but the final argument myself and my mother had, she was just, I can only describe it as downright evil. She said some things to me about the rest of my family and my wife that were simply unforgivable, no matter how ill she is. When we had this argument, she had been drinking at the time, and she had taken a lot of tablets at the time. But there's just no way when somebody has that opinion of you as a person that I could have living under the same roof. And since we had that argument last October, I've never had a word, a text, anything at all. And it's sad. It's sad when you do have a mum and dad. I do have a dad. He's only 61, but we don't get on. He totally dislikes me, and I totally dislike him. For different reasons. He has an opinion of me, and I have an opinion of him. You know, I'm right, and he thinks he's right. And I did, because of the counselling course I'm on, I had a 45-minute conversation with him back in September of this year, when I started my final year in counselling, to try and bury the hatchet, to try and make amends. Not that I've particularly done anything wrong, but he's just the man that he is, and it's not very nice to know when you've got the two parents out there, and they have no interest, no responsibility. And I'm not saying that as a 43-year-old they should have responsibility, but they've won that responsibility since I was a very small child, and that's what I find upsetting, and the fact that they haven't done anything to redress the situation, even now. So I think when you have a relationship with that, like your parents, it's a lot, you know, and they're the support. There's the people that are supposed to give you the most love and the most trust in the world. You can probably see how difficult it is to form friendships with other people, and I'm very, very careful who I let in, as it were. When I moved to Burnley in 2001, I swore I would never have any friends at all. The 2 years previous to that, I was a licensee and a landlord of a pub where I thought I had many friends, and during that time, during those 2 years, I just found out I hadn't really got any friends at all. People were just there to use my position. Some people who I thought were friends and very good friends were literally stealing from me on a daily basis, to the point where I had a virtual breakdown and had to get out. I was becoming very seriously ill, and so when I moved to Burnley, I basically became a recluse for a good 18 months. Managed to recharge my batteries, and then started again. Basically, I started this computer course to get back into teaching, and met this lad on there on the same course who supported the same football team as me. So I slowly began to get to know him. He eventually helped me to get a job with the company I'm with now, and to this day we've remained really good friends. So not all people are bad. You do have to have a small part of you that can say that, no matter how difficult it is. And apart from that, I've made one or two friends on the counselling courses I've been on, and I've remained friends with 3 people all the way through, basically. And I think it's just nice to know that there's people out there. You know, if it's a subject if it's a subject that you can speak about freely, it's nice to know that there's people out there that you can talk to. But it's still a very, very lonely life, which is one of the reasons why I've got into YouTube. No doubt all that will change in April once Leanna moves over. But there are some nice people on YouTube. But, there's also one or two people that you need to be wary of as well. But that's the beauty of it, because you have that protection there. So, anyway, probably rambled on far too long, so you take care and you keep making your videos. I enjoy listening to you. Bye bye.